Well, ladies and gentlemen, the drama regarding Stellar Blade is heating up, and apparently we have proof that people are getting refunds on Stellar Blade for one very specific reason, and that reason has to do with false advertising. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the discussion happening around Stellar Blade right now has to do with the fact that this company, Shift Up, put out a post, and Sony as well. I mean, they all kind of go in the same bed. Shift Up put out a post saying that this game was going to be uncensored in all countries, and then we come to find out that the game is absolutely censored everywhere because they did a post-patch censorship when the game went physically live. Now, the reason why this is an issue is because we know that the version on the disc was the final version of the game. That was 1.0. That was the version that was released and intended to be consumed by consumers. Anything after the fact, 1.1, 1.2, doesn't matter. Those are patches and clearly means that the game was censored. Even if you did it on day one, it doesn't matter. You still censored the final product of the game.
I think I'd like my money back.
So a lot of people are taking issue with this, and a lot of people are going after Sony and essentially trying to make Sony hurt their pockets because Sony funded this entire project for the most part. This is Sony's baby, and as much as we hate Sony and tried to praise Shift Up, let's be real. At the end of the day, Shift Up knew exactly what they were doing, trying to utilize Sony. Like Eric July said on Saturday Night Hypnosis, after a certain point, you kind of have to play ball if you want to get your game out to as many people as possible, and Shift Up took that as a priority and said, we want to get this game out to as many players as we possibly can, so we're gonna basically dance with the devil and make a deal with Sony. Now, unfortunately for them, that has led to a lot of backlash, and whether they knew about the censorship or not, whether they were forced to do it or not, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, they did it. They bent the knee to Sony, or Sony made, whatever the case may be. It still happened, and it's happening out there, and people are pissed. So now apparently people are getting refunds, and they're using false advertising as a reason and actually getting their money back, which I thought was interesting. So let's get into this article, guys, from Fandom Post. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push this out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, reports emerged on Reddit that Sony will refund PlayStation 5 players who bought the Shift Up game Stellar Blade if they base their refund claim on false advertising. The controversy surrounding Stellar Blade started almost 2 years ago when a radical feminist and developer at Shift Up claimed that she was forced out of the company due to her feminist beliefs. That controversy died a quiet death, but the controversy was again stirred when the perpetually triggered woke IGN and Kotaku game urinalists desperately scoured for their fainting couches when the first images of a beautiful and sexy looking Eve, the Stellar Blade protagonist, started emerging online. From the outset, it was clear that a beautiful Eve was going to cause outrage among the woke mob. Now, here's the thing. We already knew that to be the case, okay? When we first saw Stellar Blade, I don't remember how long ago that was, but when we first saw Stellar Blade, I remember saying in videos and on streams that this game was going to piss off a lot of people. I already knew that. Before I even knew about the outfits, before I even knew about anything else about the gameplay, I know that seeing a beautiful Eastern-developed character is going to make the wokies here in the West absolutely lose their fucking mind. It's going to make them say that the character's unrealistic, even though she was body scanned from a real person. They're going to say that this is unrealistic beauty standards, that women don't look like this, blah, 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 even though you can literally provide them with evidence of a multitude of women looking like this or better, and they still are going to say, well, that's unrealistic. And that's because they are ugly as shit on the outside and the inside, and they don't want to put the time to bettering themselves, right? We're talking about the same people who try to support the fat positive movement, right? They're not exactly arbiters of health here. Like, they don't care about looking good, being good, or whatever. They just want to be lazy and be praised for it, right? They want to do the easiest stuff in the world to do, like have sex, and they want to be praised for it. They want to be praised for their sexual identity because they have no identity. They are the most boring people in the entire planet. So now, I love the fact that you're actually able to utilize false advertising to get your money back. Now, do I think you should boycott the game or not? Listen, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I'm going to leave that up to you. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when I say vote with your wallet, I mean literally just that. Vote with your wallet, man. If you want to support the game, go support the fucking game. If you don't want to buy the game, don't buy the game. If you bought the game and felt like you were betrayed and want to refund it, then absolutely do so. Go for it. I don't care. That's perfectly fine. For me personally, I'm going to play the game because I was going to play the game regardless. When I saw that it had Souls-like gameplay, that's all it takes for me to want to buy it. I'm not even lying to you guys. Like, all it takes for me to buy a game these days is to see Souls-like combat, and I'm all for it because I'm a Souls-like player through and through, or action RPG player, whatever you want to call it. But I am absolutely pissed over the bullshit censorship, because it is bullshit. And the only thing I can personally do to try to fight back is use my platform to talk about it and get people talking about it and let the discussion go through, so that hopefully this shit doesn't happen very easily or as often in the future. And honestly, with the backlash that's happening with Stellar Blade, I would not be shocked if Shift Up starts walking on eggshells after this, and Sony starts, taking a second look at how they're going to present their games in the future. But you see a screenshot here proving that the game was refunded for $85.47, and the reason was, for the cancellation policy, the reason was false advertising. It says, now reports emerge that players can claim refunds for Stellar Blade, which refunds are approved by Sony for false advertising based on the fact that the game fails to deliver on promises made in its promotional materials. And you know what? That's my biggest issue too. A lot of these people are trying to say, oh, well, it's not censorship, it's artistic direction. If that's the case, if it's artistic direction, if you want to sell me that bridge, right? Why did you wait until the game released for you to tell us about that artistic direction that you were so proud of, that you say was your final intended design, that you say this is what you meant to put in? Why did you wait till the game was released to talk about it? Why did you wait till the game was released? Actually, let me double back really quick. Why did you wait for people to find out after the game released for you to admit and then talk about it? Because let's be real, you didn't talk about it. You didn't say anything, and that's why people are mad. You didn't inform people that the outfits were going to be censored. You didn't inform people that the gore was going to be censored. You kept shut until people bought the game, started playing it, started posting pictures, and started making comparisons and said, hey, this looks a little censored. I don't know what's going on here. You said it's not going to be censored, but it is. And then you said something. So why is it that if you're so proud of this, why did you wait? Why did you wait? Why didn't you say anything, really? Not even waiting. Why did you not say a single thing? It's because they knew, right? They knew what was going to happen if they said something. They knew that after making that statement about not being censored in the entire country, they fucking knew that if they came out and showcased the censorship, and it's not even minor censorship, I'm talking blaring, obvious censorship all across the board, outfits, graffiti, gore, everything, you knew that this was going to be a problem. And guess what? Now it just made the problem even worse. And again, I keep saying, if it's an issue of artistic direction or whatever the case may be, you had all this promotional material that you've been showcasing through and through for months, right? Almost a year. You've been showcasing this nonstop. Nothing was changed. Nothing was showcased to be changed. And only when people found out after playing it did we realize it was changed. So that's why people are having an issue. Specifically, players have to take an issue with the censorship evident in the game, which notably includes alterations to character outfits and the removal of graphic violence effects. The discrepancy between the advertised version of Stellar Blade and the version players received has left many feeling misled and dissatisfied. The fact that Sony, known for its strict refund policies, have opted to grant refunds in this case raised suspicion that Sony may be pulling a fast one over Stellar Blade developer Shift Up. Early reports pointed to potential collusion between woke IGN and Kotaku journalists with Sony to manufacture outrage over a graffiti piece in Stellar Blade. The term hard R sparked controversy, seen as a racially charged thing, but Sony promised its removal, conflicting with Shift Up's claim of an uncensored release, suggesting potential collusion for controversy. The sequence of events following the public revelation of the hard R raised suspicions of collusion between IGN, Kotaku, and Sony. This apparent manufactured outrage, coupled with Sony's swift approval of refunds, suggests that Sony may have vested interest in Stellar Blade's failure. Now, I don't really see how that's possible because Sony funded most of this game, okay? I think that you should take what you're saying, right, about Sony having a vested interest in Stellar Blade's failure. I think you need to change the word Sony and incorporate words like IGN, Kotaku, gaming urinalists, Western game developers. I think you should use those terms because ultimately those are the people that want to see Stellar Blade fail. Those are the people that need Stellar Blade to fail. They cannot let this game succeed, and they need this game to have controversy, right? This is a game that was going to be uncensored, so they had to find a way to make it censored. This was a game that wasn't going to have a lot of controversy, so they had to find a way to make controversy. They need to constantly spin this thing because that is what's most beneficial for them. So hopefully you guys make up your own decisions about what you want to do with this game. Me personally, I'm streaming it on Kick, obviously, and I'm having a good time, but I am still pissed about this stuff, and we need to have the discussion going. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.